Welcome, y'all. It's SKFC. We're bringing another live show. This time we're gonna be discussing kind of what's been going on in transfers as of June 14th, 2025. Obviously, we have another huge transfer that's happened over the last week with Florian Wirtz signed over to Liverpool for anywhere from like 100 to 116 pounds, depending on who you believe. We have like an update on the Yorkeres Manchester United situation with him rejecting Manchester United because he's not an idiot. And obviously, we also know about Thomas Frank going to Spurs and him trying to lure Brian Boma over from Brentford. I don't know why I said it like that. So basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the Fabrizio Morano's Fabrizio Morano's what's it called tweets and see if anything that sticks out or that's interesting. And then please feel free to comment down below your thoughts or add anything to the conversation. But okay. Um, so obviously we have the big news of the week. Like I said, Vert's going over to Liverpool. I think obviously this is a guy that has a lot of pedigree already in his young career. You know, a Bundesliga winner, has had multiple world class seasons. Um, this is a guy that has put up GA multiple times. He got 24 GA as a freaking 19-year-old. He had obviously 37 last season, 30 this year. So this is a guy that has been consistent over the last 4 years in terms of what he can do. What I really just like about him is his playmaking is like off the charts, especially the way he can kind of absorb contact from other players and have that not affect his passing angles. His touch is really good. His vision is so. There's just a lot. There's just lots to really like in terms of an upside for him. Um, even last year, even last season, I thought he was like a top 10 player last season in terms of performance as well. Um, so now whether or not he's worth 100, 116. To be honest, I feel like in this market, when you look at some of the other, kind of like absurd quote unquote transfers, it's definitely like worse that you can get in that ballpark. So while I don't really think most players are worth 100 plus mil, regardless. I do think that given the context of the times that we live in here, there's definitely like worse transfers that we've seen with that in mind. Let's see if we can pull up kind of like a article about him because I'm always just curious to see what other people have to say about him in terms of like his play style and what he brings to a team. Okay, so this is from the coach's voice. So this was published last season. Um, so it seems like he has been getting a lot of hype for a lot of years now, considering that when he was at Cologne, he was already being described as the best midfield to come through the club in 30 years. So that's obviously extraordinarily high praise. Um, then he went over to Bayer Leverkusen, around 2019, so around that, 16 years of age, or sorry, in 2020 actually, and he debuted really soon after that, which is kind of crazy. I didn't realize just how soon he was already getting game time for a club the size of Bayer Leverkusen. So obviously we know he's a attacking midfielder, but he can also play on the left side as well. So he's generally in the left half space, so kind of like the space between like the wide areas and the middle of the pitch. So he typically likes to be on the left side of that. Yep. See, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. His ability to, like I said, absorb contact, protect the ball, and still be able to make plays while under pressure. It's one of those things that is like very underrated and very overlooked if you don't think to look for it in your midfield players, but it does. But it really aids a lot just because it pretty much allows them to do what they need to do even when under immense pressure, which pretty much just like ups like the floor of their play because you know that they're not easily as rattled or they can't be easily be moved off their pivot. So for Leverkusen, he drops from a higher attacking to receive passes, which we'll see if he needs to do that at Liverpool. He's developed a particular relationship with Grimaldo to exploit these situations. As opposition team looks to engage to restrict him, he creates space behind the drawn opposition center back. So this is what they're talking about here. By him having his own gravity, he pulls out the center back, opens up the space for Grimaldo to run into, gives it to Xhaka, so Xhaka can make that pass. This is interesting. So you see that additionally he looks to disguise the weight of his passes, and he's been known to use no look or outside the foot passes in exceptional moments of flair, making it particularly dangerous with the final pass and attack. He often uses his eyes in shapes as if he's going to play wider. This causes the defender to close and unbounce their body position. In anticipation of shifting across, he can then reverse the pass back inside against the flow, which prevents the defender from intercepting. Again, that's another underrated thing to have in your locker because it just makes you more unpredictable, like the article saying. Thus, again, making you harder to defend as well because defenders can't just get comfortable thinking that they know what you're going to do. I mean, even just looking at kind of his creative stats, RCC here, he's in the 97th percentile in terms of assists per 90, 97th percentile in terms of expected assists. Completes the most passes in the league. His pass accuracy isn't the highest, but I do think it's fine given how much creativity he's giving you. I think when a player offers like the ability to just create chances out of nowhere and exponentially increases your likelihood for your team to score, you can kind of live with them not being the cleanest in terms of keeping the ball. Again, above average in terms of long balls, even a good completion rate of those long balls as well. So basically, the ball can do it all in terms of creativity, except for maybe crossing. But Also, again, like he plays mostly in like the central pocket, so he doesn't really need to cross as much. Um, over 3 dribbles a game. Like, yeah, so he's just gonna be looking to be involved in like everything. I think maybe honestly the worry, but the thing to look out for that I'd be interested in is to see um how much of a role he's going to play playing at Liverpool in terms of how much license is he going to get to do, kind of all the things he wants to do. Just because if you're taking as many touches as you are and you have as much creative freedom as you do, especially if you're going to go to a team with, I guess, more like higher echelon players, which I don't know if that's really fair to say. You're going to be in a situation where you're bound to be stepping on some toes, right? So I wish FootMob had the touches per 90 in here, but they do not, unfortunately. But you know what, we can surmise. So, well, if we look at the amount of successful dribbles per 90 at Liverpool, Luis Diaz tops it at only 2, which is not particularly high. So, and I don't know if that's just a proponent of the way Liverpool play or a limitation of their players. As if you look at the season prior, 2.3, so still not that high. 1.4, so Liverpool just don't have a lot of good ball dribblers generally. So that is something that again he offers, given that he's completed 3 this season. I guess I'd be curious to see if like for him if this is a consistent thing or if this year was like an outlier in that respect. Okay, so looking at 2.99. So obviously that's in and around where he was doing this season, and then the season prior, you're looking at 3 point. Okay, so this is a guy that is just consistently a high level dribbler. So, which is definitely interesting to note. Um, Obviously, I know the Bundesliga tends to be a little bit more transitional, so I don't know how much of that is like again the league versus his own actual play style and quality. Um, but again, that is something that he's going to be bringing to Liverpool, so that's going to be interesting. Uh, so in terms of big chances, so obviously Salah was Liverpool's highest at 27. And then after that, it was Trent at 15, but Trent's not going to be there next season. And then after that, it's Dominic Szoboszlai at 12 and Gakpo at 11. So Liverpool haven't. So Liverpool only have like 4 players with over 10 big chances created. And to be fair, I don't know if I'd be curious to see if like that would be considered a lot. Probably not. But Wirtz himself has 17. Um, and obviously Liverpool losing Trent, they need to make up that creativity from somewhere. So Wirtz is obviously going to help with that, given that he's also a creative player as well. Yeah, I mean, all in all, this is a good coup by Liverpool. I'm definitely jealous of him, and I would definitely be interested to see what he's going to be up to. Moving on, keeping on Liverpool. So I guess Andy Robertson has. There's been talk of him going to Atletico. This is going to be, and if this does happen, this is going to be very similar to, the what's it called when Kieran Trippier went to Atletico from Tottenham, right? Like they're both not English, sorry, Robertson's Scottish. So they're both British fullbacks. And I remember at the time Kieran Trippier left Tottenham, he was considered to be on the decline as well. And obviously he rejuvenated his career at Atletico, and then went to Newcastle after that. So it'll be interesting to see if Robertson kind of has like a similar career trajectory in that sense. And then you can even kind of just see, even just looking at his ratings, like obviously for defenders, their fluctuation isn't as high because rating apps are obviously biased towards attackers, but you can see here, like he's still gone down considerably. So obviously the season has not been his best showing. And it's crazy because he's only 31. So, that kind of also just shows like the amount of miles that he's had in his body, that he's basically like in his Celtic Shaq era, only 1 year into his 30s. So that's kind of crazy as well. And even last year, he only played 30 games, so which is not a lot. So he's already showing signs of like breaking down in that sense. Right, like you look at what he's been doing defensively. I think the thing that probably sticks out to me is kind of how low his percentages actually are. Like because obviously in terms of like defensive actions, like I don't expect them to be high because he plays for a dominant team. But when you're consistently on the wrong end of losing your aerial duels, your ground duels, consistently not winning tackles, that becomes a problem. So I feel like it's fair to say. Um, Obviously, generally he's been really good for the club, and players go through declines at different times. But I would also be interested to see how Simeone uses him as well, because I know Atletico, they've been playing. It's mostly been Galan left back, if I remember correctly, and I remember he's a guy that like can attack pretty well. I mean, in terms of like contributing to the attack, but he's also a guy that gets that can get at um, a a lot easier than you would want for your starting fullback. So, given all that, I can see maybe what the thought process is, especially if they don't want to spend too much money on him, I guess. And also, sometimes like can run shifts as like a wing back as well. Yes, this guy. I know he's also older than I thought too. So he's also 30 years old. So, but I mean, it should definitely be interesting. I wonder what Simeone is going to cook with Andrew Robertson. Oh wow. Okay, so this one surprised me. So Mateus Tell is looking like he's going to stay at Tottenham. At least that's what Fabrizio Romano is reporting right now. And I guess I'm a bit surprised because I don't know why. I don't remember him having like the greatest of impacts while he was there. I mean, granted, he was not going to play like at all at Bayern. So obviously, I already knew he was looking to kind of escape that situation for his own career. Um, he just he just turned 20 like a month ago. Um, so he's still obviously extremely young. Um, he scored 10 goals 2 seasons prior and 6 goals 3 seasons prior. So this was a guy that was getting decent-ish minutes and putting up some decent qualities. But obviously, after Kane came in, I think this is a guy that kind kind of plays like a weird role because I don't want to say he started as a striker. I don't really know what position he started as, but basically when Kane came in, um, he was essentially forced to be a left winger, whether he wanted to be or not. So, and then he still wasn't getting as much game time because due to the likes of like Leroy Sané and Gnabry, and then Elise came in too. So that contributed heavily to him leaving Bayern this season. And I do think um, the fee itself is a bit crazy. I'm not gonna lie, like because you look at what Tottenham are paying for him, 35 million euros plus a 10 million euro loan fee and out. So you're looking at 50 million euros. And I feel like at that point, right, like you might as well go out and go get like someone that with a little bit more experience or has played a little bit more minutes this year, like a Bino Gittins or something. Because it's like I don't know. Even from the games I've watched, I can't really think of any specific standout game that Tellez had to make me think, oh yeah, no, he definitely needs to play. I mean, I'm seeing here that so he got a 7.7 match rating in this game against Crystal Palace, which kind of stands out to me because it's not like he got a goal or an assist. So who knows? Maybe I might watch to see why he got such a high match rating, given that he didn't get any GA. But anyway, moving on. I know he posted like 3 tweets of this. We talked about the Andy Robertson thing. Athletic have Robertson higher than because I do remember that they were in talks with AC Milan for Theo Hernandez as well. What do you think would at this point in time would be a better option? But it's always good to have backups there, right? So okay, like or contingency plan. Okay, so it looks like Redford's eyeing up on a 19-year-old American goalkeeper who I will not even pretend like I've heard of before. So it seems like Kirk really wants to join Liverpool, and I guess it's just a matter of time. Kirk is also another player that I like as well. From what I've watched him, he's aggressive. He's incredibly athletic. Even going forward, he obviously had that one solo against Newcastle, but even beyond that, like generally, like his general play, he likes to make a lot of underlapping runs, like kind of between the winger and like a midfielder, to then still put it in for a cross. His crossing is pretty good as well. Like there's definitely like a lot of upside with him, at least just from what I've seen, at least from what he's shown. Sorry, for Bournemouth this year. You can see here already, like my crossing is his bread and butter. That's what he likes to do. Even though he doesn't accept a lot of dribbles, even relative to his position, he still completes them at an incredibly efficient rate. So that kind of tells me that he not takes his time, but he picks his time. He picks his spots well to go forward. So that's generally good. I guess when it comes to his defensive actions, it makes sense when you see how Bournemouth play. Like Bournemouth are very high aggressive pressing type of team. So I guess it makes sense to me why he like if you look at his defensive actions, he gets more interceptions and he wins more like in possession in the box as opposed to like relative to how many times he like gets tackles and duels, but obviously you still want that to be higher as well. I'm actually pretty a little bit surprised looking at it's that low relative to his position, but he also plays relatively high as well. So, and I'd be interested to see what I can find on him. So there's an article from the Premier League. Let's see, Manchester City signed the youngster by the name of Sever Naipian. Yeah, I'm not even going to pretend like I can pronounce that name. And he is a name that I have seen floating about. So they signed him from Rosenborg. He is a central midfielder. Which I'd be interested to see what he kind of does. So he seems to, I don't say score. How many minutes has he played? Let's start there. So he's played 9 minutes this year. 9 matches, sorry. And he's gone. We only played he's played about 9 matches. About not 9, about 7 matches worth of minutes. I think it probably would be better to look at what he did last year to give us a better gauge of what this guy is up to. So last season he got 8 goals and 7 assists in 28 matches in the Swedish league or Norwegian league. Swedish. What the hell is this league? Let me start there. I feel bad now. Norway. Okay, so in the Norwegian league. So he's a Norwegian league player. He played 28 matches last year, and he got 15 goal involvements. He's only 18 years old, so incredibly young, incredibly young, actually. And so that means that the prior season he would have been 17 when he was doing this. Okay, so even last year he seems like a goal scoring, a midfielder with some goal scoring on top on him. He was in the 94th percentile in terms of assists, only slightly above average in terms of expected assists. His chance creation was pretty decent. Long ball accuracy was above average as well. He completes a fair amount of dribbles. He he seems like a pretty good dual winner as well. So he seems like pretty much like an all action midfielder type of guy, and he is 182 centimeters, which is about, so he's about 5'11 ish. So he's about 5'11, closer like 5'11, 6 feet ish. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting profile. I definitely have to put him on the list of players to watch because I've never watched Bro before, so I don't really have much to say on him. But the fact that they only spent 15 mil on him, means that they probably hold him in pretty high regard. So yeah, I would definitely be interested in seeing, why exactly that's the case, on kind of what he offers, in terms of on the eye test. Yeah, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna put him in my ones to watch. Let's see if anything else interests me. Benfica, so Chiesa wants to leave Liverpool because he doesn't play. Shout out to Napoli. So I guess they want to be in for him, which makes a lot of sense. Fer Lopez. So he plays for Celta Vigo. He is 21 years old. Oh, me and him have the same birthday. That's pretty cool. So he's 21 years old. So this was his first official professional season for Celta Vigo. 4 goals in 20 matches. He is an attacking midfielder that can also play as a right winger. How many minutes did he actually play? So he played about 668 minutes. So that's roughly like 7.5, 7.33 worth of minutes. So 2 goals in that time span. I guess for prolific, but so I guess it's kind of hard to take this with a bit of a grain of salt because, again, there's not a lot of minutes to really make this statistic valid. So I don't have much to say on him because I haven't seen him, so I guess I'm gonna have to add him to the list as well. In terms of what's it called, his statistical profile, it's hard to gauge as well because he's only played like 7 minutes worth of matches, so it doesn't really show that a lot of these stats are accurate in the first place. Well, obviously Celta Vigo, I think they finished in a Europa League spot this year or something. So they're looking to kind of build upon that, and they finished in a Europa League spot. So they're looking to build upon that as well. So yeah, that should be interesting for Wolves. I'll definitely have to do more due diligence on him to see why Wolves want him in the first place. Also, shout out to whoever just joined the stream. So yeah, make sure you like the stream, and please feel free to comment on any transfers that has caught your attention, maybe for your club or for a rival, or just any transfers that you find interesting overall. Definitely don't mind taking a detour to see what else is going on in the world of football that you think I might find interesting as well. So going to continue with what we're doing. So just going down for the wormhole, Fabrizio wormhole for this year or for today. So we talked about Naipan. So Como bought a player from Dynamo Zagreb by the name of Martin Baturina. Baturina? So he is 22 years old. Playing the Croatian League. Okay, so he's played 4 seasons. Last season he got 6 goals and 13 assists. 2 goals, 2 assists in the Champions League, so that's pretty good. Only played 3 games in the Champions League, so he didn't really do much in Europe the season prior or 2 seasons ago. So this is his first year playing in the Champions League. Is not playing in the Champions League, but like putting in like actual work in the Champions League. Like 4 goal involvements in 10 Champions League matches. It's pretty good. Granted, I want to see who it was against. Okay, so he scored against AC Milan in the Champions League. He also scored. Well, where did he get all the goals from? So he got a goal and an assist against Monaco. So he had a good game against them as well. And then in the Champions League qualifiers, but we don't care about that. All right. So scored against Milan, scored against Monaco, and got an assist against Monaco. And on top of that, he what has he been doing in the Croat League? So, like I said, he's played 31 matches. 33 matches, started 31 of them. He's played over 200 minutes. So he's played a good amount of the season. Statistically, what are we looking at here? We're looking at a guy that gets a decentish amount of goals for his position because he's an attacking midfielder. He can play on the left as well. Seems like a good chance creator. Just again, looking shallowly at his statistics, completes almost 2 dribbles a game. Has a high dribble success rate. He's very highly involved in his team's play. It's over 70 touches a game. Defensively, he seems like okay, especially in terms of like duels won. So that he will get stuck in, as the British like to say, when it comes to dealing with opposition players. So he's 172 centimeters. I think it's about like, I want to say like 5'9", 5'9". Is that right? 5'7". So that's close. So he's up 5'7". So he has like that short midfielder type vibe to him. It looks interesting. He's going over to Serie A, which is going to be obviously a league that's not going to be too fast in terms of the speed of play. He's going to be playing on his Cesc Fabregas, who we've already seen with the like of like Nico Paz, knows how to like nurture attacking talent. Como they play good football, so it should be an interesting move for this guy. So hopefully we'll hear more about him. Just more talk about the Florian Wirtz transfer that we went over earlier. Oh yeah, this is also very interesting news. I forgot about this. So Monaco. I guess they're going to be the rehabilitation center for. I don't want to say flops. I feel like flops is definitely too harsh of a word, but for players who have had better days in careers, so better days in their careers. Obviously, so it looks like they are in line to get both Paul Pogba and Ansu Fati, 2 guys that had burst onto the scene in their younger years. And especially in the case of like Ansu Fati, wasn't really able to sustain that success. I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to Fati, I was kind of hoping that he would have the resurgence that Ferran Torres did under Hansi Flick. So it's a bit sad that like he wasn't able to do that, because I remember when he burst onto the scene in like late 2019, 2020-ish, as like a 16, 17-year-old. The guy was doing bits, but obviously injuries and kind of just like overall stagnation has kind of like put his career into a standstill. So, and with Paul Pogba obviously getting the 4-year ban overturned early to only 2 years, and he's going to be looking to get back into the swing of things. One, just to play high level football again. Two, and of course, very importantly for him, get ready for the World Cup because his last international tournament was the 2020 Euros, in which he obviously played really well in the international tournament. So yeah, Gattuso looks like he's going to become the Italy head coach. I'll say I need to make a video on those bombs, man. We do. So Pioli's heading over to Fiorentina, and looks like Dzeko might follow him. Kyle Walker to Fenerbahce, I guess is. Oh, because he was only on loan at AC Milan. I don't know. I thought AC Milan bought him. Okay, interesting. So he might be going to Fenerbahce, or at least they're interested. I don't really think. Oh, let me speak on this quickly. So Nico Williams right now, he's being pursued by Barcelona, Arsenal, and Bayern. So it seems like he wants to join Barcelona. But Bayern also really want him as well. I mean, I like Nico Williams as a player. You're looking at a guy that's athletic, creative, um, especially when you give him space to operate. I feel like the thing with him is one, he needs to kind of just like work on like a little bit more of like the soft skills in terms of like his touch. And I think sometimes he can be a bit forceful in terms of like how he tries to create chances. Like it's very, I don't want to say predictable, but like slightly one dimensional. He kind of reminds me of like uh a more polished version of like Pedro Neto, except he can actually like shoot, I guess. I would say the thing with him is if I was advising him, yeah, I think Bayern would probably make the most sense because Barcelona already have Rafinha, they already have Jamal, they already have Ferran Torres as well. So it's like there's like they're so log jammed at winger that even if you come in, like there's no guarantee that you're going to be getting starting minutes all the time. Whereas Bayern, they're trying to offload Gnabry. Leroy Sané is going to Galatasaray, so the space is there for you to pretty much lock up a starting spot. And on top of that, Bayern is still obviously a big team. They obviously still have like ambitions to win Champions League. You're basically guaranteed a Bundesliga title when you get there. So I feel like Bayern would probably make more sense for him, but I mean, we'll see where he decides to go. But all right, I want to call it for the stream today. We've been going for 45 minutes. I want to thank you guys for anyone that joined. I want to thank you for doing that. Again, please make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly of all, remember to have a good day.